Something odd started happening. The children began sleepwalking. Today's episode of Nite Terrors is called The House on Halsey Street. Now, Halsey Street was in an older neighborhood with tall trees, and it was very quiet. The first time the viewer saw the house, it's when they were moving in. Her parents looked at it and rented it while the children were in school. As she stood in the front yard looking at the house, she felt dread. It should have been a warm, cheery house with yellow paint and white trim and a welcoming front porch. There was a single attic window that was blank and dark, yet she felt as though something were watching them from the window. This was in the summer, and even though it was warm outside, she felt cold on the back of her neck. Summer was remarkably uneventful as the children explored the house with the spacious attic, which they weren't allowed to go in, and the creepy basement, which they didn't like to play in. They played outside and made friends with the neighborhood children. The floor furnace would come roaring to life with all kinds of strange noises, but that's not what the children were hearing. Each one would say they were followed throughout the house everywhere they went with growling at the back of their neck. Bad weather would force the children to stay inside the house, and they would have to play down in the basement. The basement was full of strange odors and weird stains, and an old refrigerator that had weird things in it. Their imaginations told them that somebody had been brutally murdered down there and dismembered and washed down that putrid drain. Where the children got those ideas, she has no idea because they had never watched a crime show or a scary movie in their entire life. After a little bit of time had passed, something odd started happening. The children began sleepwalking. First, the parents caught the youngest trying to get into the attic and open the door. She was opening the door and starting up the stairs when her parents stopped her. They realized she was sound asleep, and they carried her back to bed. A week or two later, the second youngest child was sleepwalking towards the basement. The rattling of the doorknob to the basement is what woke them up. They found their child halfway down the stairs asleep while walking. The children were playing outside and swinging on the rope swing that was attached to the tree that stood outside the house. They had a full view of the back attic window. They were looking up at the window, and you could see a cardboard box flap. The attic was used for storage. It was hardly ever gone into, and the children would notice that the flap was moving. They thought this was very strange since no one should have been up there, and the windows were not open. The next thing that happened frightened the children so badly that they ran screaming into the house. While looking at the box, a strange creature rose out of the box. It looked almost like a piñata of a strange dog, except with weird ears, and its head was moving, and it looked like it was covered in hair. It had strange ears that went straight up and then bent down sharply at the ends, and the eyes glowed gold. That evening, a violent storm bloomed, and lightning hit the tree, the very tree they were swinging on, and split it in half. They found a larger house in another neighborhood and moved before the next winter on Halsey Street. So what do you think it was? Drop a comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for listening to Nite Terrors. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button and drop a comment below. And don't forget to click the link in the description to send in your encounter story to be featured on an episode of Nite Terrors. Also, you can see what else is going on in the Night Callers world. Thank you, everybody.